Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People. As you have a friend in the media, which is myself, any questions that you have about this Carolina Panthers team, just let me know and I'll work to get those questions answered for you. Today, we're going to recap practice. Today, Tuesday, August the 20th. We're going to jump right on into it, starting with some injuries, some practice observations, and then go ahead and talk about some of the things that Coach Canales and Bryce Young said today to us. But let me also go ahead and ask for this. If you're a new member, if you're new, consider liking the video, subscribe as well, help us continue to grow. The bigger that we grow, the more that we can do for you. There's Xavier Leggett getting in some practice, man. Hopefully that guy will continue to get some reps, get on the field, stay healthy, and we'll be able to see how well he does this upcoming season. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Again, let's start with the injuries for today. Injuries in the preseason are really just the best a journalist can do in gathering information. There's no official list, so perhaps you might say, hey, Chris, you forgot about such and such. Just let me know if you're on live. I'll try to comment about it. But again, for the most part, it's just us keeping notes of who was on the field, who wasn't on the field, etc. So injuries for Carolina Panthers as of right now. Chuba Hubbard got banged up pretty good last week with the Jets, and it was a question, hey, how is Chuba doing? It seemed like it was something major, but Coach said that things were checking out well. Indeed, things continue to check out well for Chuba Hubbard because he was on the field today. So knock on wood for that, everything seems to be going pretty good for Chuba. We also had Chandler Zavala last week have something banged up. I believe it was his knee. I forget exactly what it was with Chandler Zavala last week, but he's looking good. He wasn't doing team stuff, but he was doing one-on-one drills. And then, like myself, many of you wonder, well, what the heck happened with Jake Luton? Because he came in there and he played in the fourth quarter and everything seemed fine. But Jake Luton was placed on the injured reserve list yesterday. Coach Canales today did did tell us more information about it, saying that he had something with his something muscular in his shoulder that caused him to be placed on injured reserve. So those are your injury updates for what I have. Let me go ahead and give a shout out to my man Darrell. Gotta always shout out, give special acknowledgement to my members. You see that little gold seal by his name that indicates that he is a member supporting the channel, independent media. So 100% viewer supported. So thank you anytime that anyone's able to become a member. That link is listed down in the description if you desire to do that. All right, what about observations from practice today? Well, J.C. Horn continues to look pretty good. Hopefully this young man can stay healthy and do some great things for this Carolina Panthers team. He had an interception today off of Bryce Young, but let me say this. It was not a direct interception, as in from Bryce to J.C. Horn. It was a batted ball. Batted balls, as you know, have a pretty good chance of being intercepted at any level, especially in the NFL. J.C. Horn was on the receiving end of one of those interceptions. And then my guy, Trevin Wallace, who we're going to get into a little bit more here in just a second. I say my guy because I interviewed him one-on-one. If you have not seen that one-on-one interview with myself and Trevin, please check it out on YouTube. Just click on the logo if you're already watching, see the channel, and you'll see a playlist of one-on-one interviews. But Trevin Wallace continuing to just, man, I don't know how many interceptions this guy has had, but he seems to be racking them up pretty darn well in this past week. Deontay Johnson today at practice at one point seemed to be hurt, grabbing his foot, came off for a second, came back on, pretty much immediately caught a pass, and everything went on as usual. So hopefully that's a very positive sign, and he does not show up on the injury list, or again, there's no official injury list, but he doesn't show up with any problems later on this week. Terrace Marshall Jr., shining, doing well. And what about our boy Eddie Pinheiro? Eddie beat out Mevis, I believe it was last week, but I know it was relatively recently. But since Mevis has been out of the picture, I don't think that Eddie's gone 5 for 5 or had a perfect practice. Now, I could be wrong. I feel like I'm about 80% sure of that. But this is what I can say for sure is today, Eddie P was 3 of 5 on his field goal attempts. Really would like to see him be 500, but I'm sorry, I said 500. Really would like to see him be perfect, 100 in practice. But again, he was 3 of 5. So that is your practice summary for today. Appreciate everybody that's signing in and interacting. We got Panther Pulse, who's jumped in here saying, "What's up?" with the salute. Appreciate that very much, Panther Pulse for the salute. Let's go ahead and get into some Dave Canales and Bryce Young talking to the media today. Dave was up first, as he is always when he does have a media availability. Let us know that the install with the offense, I don't know about the defense, but the install with the offense is complete. It was actually completed about 10 days to 2 weeks ago. And at this point, the offense is just practicing different personnel, different formations of the playbook that's been installed, just so they can work on now disguising things more. So that's good to hear. Offense is in place, has been for about 2 weeks. So that's going to give them about a month of having the complete playbook installed before they head down to New Orleans for that season opener. What about playing guys this weekend? A hot topic, a big topic. My opinion is, man, I wish these guys would play. And I know there's arguments on both sides, but it really seems like they are not going to play, in my opinion, based on the things that Canales is saying. Now, he did say today, just because Buffalo is not playing their guys doesn't mean that I'm going to play my guys. That's not surprising because Canales always speaks about, let's work on ourselves. He even talks about with the joint practice, let's not necessarily be trying to beat the guy in front of you. Let's just try to be our best self and improve upon that each and every play. So mentioning that what they have decided to do in Buffalo is not going to impact how he makes his decision. He is going to focus his decision on how healthy they are this week in practice. Mentioning today was a tough practice, and they have some more padded practices this week. They have practice on Wednesday, Thursday, off Friday, which is typically when they're going to fly up to the game for Saturday in Buffalo. So it all depends, what Dave is saying, on how healthy this team remains this week. I feel like he said that as, there's some truth to it, but I feel like he's already leaning towards, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. He seems to like what they get out of practice, love what they got out of joint practice last week versus the Jets. And today, Bryce Young also mentioned that the staff does a really good job of some specific situations and getting them ready for real game situations with the way that they carry on with practice. Bryce, we've been talking about it a little bit. I know last year I put the graphic out there after each week. There's this passing diagram about his ball placement, where left, right, how deep the ball was going. Gosh darn it, I can't remember the number off the top of my head what the NFL considers a deep pass. I don't know if it was 20 or 30. I want to say 20 is too short. Forgive me, you guys, on not knowing that exact number. But I'd put that graphic out there each week to show that he was not throwing any deep balls. And we want to see it, right? We want to see it. So Coach Canales said today, he is a fan of the deep ball.
I would love to come out and rip 50-yard touchdowns from day one on. That's my heart and soul. Quickest way to win a game is straight line, A to B, throw it to that guy, touchdown. And that sometimes the games work out that way. Our defensive scheme is fantastic. They play their leverage as well. They know how to use their help on these plays. We got guys who understand the scheme, who can run. It's challenging, especially in practice. So they've made it really hard, and we've gotten some. We got one today. We got a couple balls pushed down the field and some near misses. It's like those near misses are the ones that it's just like that's time on task. That's me to you factor. Learning this player. how does he maintain his speed down the field? Does he have another gear, or does he top out? And I got to give him a high ball to maybe high point. We got a bunch of big, powerful guys in that room. So I think it's also just learning the chemistry of how to throw these balls to different players down the field.
So to me, some interesting things said there. And I feel like Canales is a big, big fan of Evero. I mean, he said that before about how well that Evero is as a coordinator. Look forward to the opportunity before it was official that Evero was staying. Wanted him to be on his staff. He does have him on his staff. Talks about how great it is to go against Evero and learn how to beat various defenses, right? So to me, that was saying we want to, but saying also that our defense plays really well, and it just doesn't lend itself to a lot of deep ball attempts, especially in practice, but also said there's a little bit of Bryce still getting the chemistry with players. But to me, leave your comments what you think of what Dave said there in terms of the lack of deep ball and getting it done in practice. Again, I think it's a hat tip on the defensive side, which you could understand. I mean, they've been picking off Bryce. They've been doing pretty well. Maybe a chance, an opportunity for Dave to learn a few more plays to put in the playbook and ways, may help him with the way that he called plays to help set up that deep ball that may be challenging him. And there's nothing wrong with our coach being challenged to figure some things out. And there's certainly nothing wrong, and it's a great thing that he is playing against a defense that seemingly challenged him pretty well. Big Tight here with the comment. Thanks for the content. Big Tight, thanks for viewing. Appreciate it very much. And my man Larry Scott saying, make sure y'all like and subscribe. Great content. Thank you very much. I will continue to do my best to keep you all up to date. I will be in Buffalo this Saturday. Again, set your reminders, set your alerts. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be live pregame in Buffalo on the field. We'll be live postgame in Buffalo as well to recap what takes place and what I feel will be our second, third, fourth, fifth teamers, etc. All right. Also, my Trevin Wallace. I talked about him earlier. He's been doing well. He had another interception today. Dave Canales spoke about Trevin Wallace.
I think he's just a natural football player, first and foremost. And while he still has a ways to go, learning the scheme and doing all that, when he's comfortable, he's big and he's fast and he's got great hands. And that's such a rare combination at the inside linebacker spot. But we really have three fantastic linebackers in terms of catching the ball with Shaq, with Josie, and with Trevin. Let me give a shout out to Pete Hansen, and working the drills and making sure they're constantly coming out of their breaks, catching footballs, and being the ball awareness is such a huge thing for our defense. They've done a fantastic job of emphasizing it, and then the talent comes into play. So he has great eyes with his QB's intentions and finishing on the ball.
So I'm excited to continue to see Trevin Wallace grow, continue to see him get comfortable. He is big. He does obviously have some ball hawking skills, and can't have too many good linebackers on your team, right? Can't have too many. Rookie season loading. We got one more game that we'll likely get to see Trevin because he's a rookie. He's been playing a lot. Let me see what his snap count was last week. I think it was pretty high. See if I can quickly bring that up, and then we'll continue to go through one more thing that I want to share with you guys. And any questions, please go ahead and ask any questions if you got them while we're live. Uh-oh. Hit a wrong button there. So Trevin had a snap count of 29 on the defensive side. So that was 48% of the plays. So that was quite a bit. Just some people had more. Jamie Robinson, Shaw Smith-Wade. But he also had a good amount of snaps on special teams, getting 11 snaps on special teams. So Trevin's been playing a lot, and I foresee him continuing to play a lot during this preseason. So Bryce Young had a chance to speak with the media today. I mentioned earlier that Canales let it out that they're about 10 days to 2 weeks into this playbook that has been completely installed. And so at this point, the team is just working on the variations because in the NFL, everybody's smart. So you got to try to disguise things, give different looks. Anything that you can do to make that opponent think just a second or a tenth of a second, even longer, to give you an advantage is good. So that's what they're working on. Bryce had a system last year, has a different system this year. I know people have asked me about the differences between the practices, and I really haven't seen much. But today, Bryce talked about what's for him, what's good about the difference in this playbook this year than it was last year.
I think that they do a great job of taking what the defense gives, but also dictating the terms of what we want to do. I think we're very, very multiple. It's a good mixture of run, play, pass, drop back, movement, some creative stuff that we do as well. And I think just being able to have different ways to get and attack similar things. I think that's really important. Again, that's something we talk about a lot as a unit, making sure that we can be as we can try to be complex in how we make things happen, but for us, making sure that we're consistent in the stuff we do. And also, there's a lot of defined rules which really help. There's a lot of things that watching last year, Tampa, obviously same division, so we watch a lot of the same things. A lot of plays that you're like, man, those are super instinctual, super niche those. How do they get in that timing? And then hearing it now, there's a lot of rules that define stuff. A lot of versus this look, we're getting to this exact depth, this exact amount of steps, things like that. So just us being able to be on the same page throughout all of that is making a lot of that clear is really helpful for me, helpful for the entire unit. So again, it's exciting for us to continue to build off that.
So there you have it, Bryce Young on the offense this year, the benefits of it, and just some commentary on that new offense that Bryce Young is under with Mr. Dave Canales as his head coach. So I got a question here from Carolina Panthers Pulse, which I think is kind of funny. Do you believe the offensive installation is complete from what you've seen? Yeah, I mean, the coach said it. Bryce Young says it that, yeah, it's complete. And we have seen some different things. Today in practice, continue to see even more things that we were able to see versus the previous weeks of training camps when it was open to the public. So, yeah, I believe in it. Let's see. What's up, Nicole, one of our members? Appreciate you being a member and signing on there. Knucklehead K, what's up, man of the people? Hope everyone is doing well. They are doing well. Appreciate you, Knucklehead K. And saw Xavier Legette was out there today. How has he looked? Thank you, and great content, Chris KP. Yeah, Xavier Legette is out there. Looked good. Looked fine. So for me, I just want to see Xavier Legette get some more reps, be able to be out there on the field consistently. He missed a lot of times doing, I think it was OTAs, what you want to call it. And then he's been out a few times since training camp has started. So for me, there's not like a big injury concern with him, as I know there's just adjustments that their bodies may be going through when they go from college to pros. But I do want to have a period of time where I get to evaluate Xavier for a month and see how well he does. I think right now he may be, suffering a little bit just from the lack of reps that everybody else has been getting. That would be helpful for him as a rookie to get a lot of reps. And then you get into the game situation, which is a different level than you're able to get and practice. I know they have the joint practices. He did participate in that last week with the Jets, but it still helps a rookie continue to develop. Don't know exactly where he's going to be in the depth chart. I'm thinking I might this year go ahead and do more of a 53-man roster projection, a NFC South division overlook kind of thing to help give everybody an idea on what to expect for this upcoming season and various perspectives. So if you like that idea, just let me know, leave a comment, and I'll continue to take that into consideration for the content that we pump out here over at Charlotte Vibe. Always love the live videos so that we can interact. So please always continue to do that. The invitation is there. Zulu King, you're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you for tuning in. I wouldn't be anything if you guys weren't tuning in. So I really appreciate the tuning in. We're going to finish with Hamtastic. He said, are you sold? So I'm going to give you a moment, Hamtastic, to elaborate on that question. I'll finish off with that question. Are you sold? Please go ahead and elaborate on that question. And once you do, I will answer. I think I know what you're asking here. I'm going to talk for, another 10 or 15 seconds. I know there's a delay. Okay, now you hit me with a question that I didn't see coming. So he's asking, am I sold on Deontay, Adam, Terrace, Mingo, Leggett, and Coker? Hopefully I'm saying his name correctly. All right, good question. So we'll end on that, Hamtastic. Sheesh. So let's take these one by one. Deontay, I'll give you a 1 to 10 on am I being sold. 10 being fully sold. On Deontay, I am sold currently at an 8 on Deontay. I was going to go to halves, but I'd give myself an 8 on being sold with Deontay. He did have some drops that I've seen several times that I wonder, is it just one of those sporadic drop type things, or is it going to be certain scenarios in which he is susceptible to a drop? Adam Thielen, I'm giving Adam Thielen a 10. Not saying that he's going to be off the charts, but I give him a 10 in terms of I feel like he's going to be exactly who he was last year, a very solid technical route runner, sure-handed, and a veteran with some moves and nuances that he can do to get open that a normal guy with his speed may not be able to do to be able to get open. So I give a 10 for Adam. For Terrace Marshall Jr., it's a two-part question that comes to mind when I think about Terrace. One is where exactly is he going to fall on the depth chart? So in practice, he's not always going against the number one. In the preseason games, he's not always going against the number one. So that kind of skews things a little bit for Terrace, who his opponent is when he has been making these good catches. Are they number ones or are they number twos or threes? So I feel like Terrace, I would really go to give Terrace an 8. Has been solid in training camp, but there's this question mark on what that translates to versus number ones and then where exactly he fits into it. But I'm liking Terrace. Jonathan Mingo, I'd give Mingo more of a 7. Leggett, I feel like I can't say I've seen enough of Leggett. Certainly there's flashes where you get excited. I can't say this. I will say this, that I can't say that I've seen anything bad from Leggett, that I've seen drops and just anything sloppy out of Leggett. Just want to see him a little bit more. Coker, I feel like he's been out there enough for me to have some kind of thought to him, but I haven't really kept track of my notes for Coker. I feel like he's a guy that's been limited in opportunities. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Hamtastic, on my evaluation of Deontay, Adam, Terrace, Mingo, Leggett, and Coker. Somebody may not, what's that, 5 guys there? And yeah, we'll see how it all pans out. So appreciate everybody for joining me. Sorry I could not get to all of your questions. Another little plug here to become a member. If you are a member, I always make sure I answer your questions. You get a little priority treatment over everyone else. A link is in the description to become a member. Super Chats is also a way to make sure I absolutely, positively answer your question. Shannon Tyler, thank you for being a member. Thank you for joining on. Thank you everybody that supports the channel. We've been growing a lot. Everybody's been appreciating the content it covers. So we're definitely going to keep it up. Anytime you all have suggestions for things, please let me know. Leave it in the comments. I have put in a request to talk with Xavier Leggett this week. Haven't got a confirmation on that one, so we may have to move that to another player. Just stay tuned and see what ends up happening. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe.